Hello, Nigeria. I hope you all are having a great time at the conference at PyCon Nigeria 2024. So, I was supposed to be there in person, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, I'm unable to be there with you. But thanks to the PyCon team and the Venco team, this talk was able to get to you online. Thanks, team, for that. So, who am I? I'm Mohammed Hussain Nagaria, and I'm a product evangelist slash teacher at Frappe. And I run this small YouTube channel called Build with Hussain, where I go live every week and build apps live. It is as raw as it gets. So I have a few thousand subscribers, by the way. So, what is Frappe? Frappe is a remote technology company based out of India, and we build 100% open source free software, FOSS. And one of the things we built to build other apps is Frappe framework, which is a low code no code framework, which is what I'm going to talk about today. So if you want to learn more about Frappe or Build with Hussain, these are the links. Let's start by talking about the two worlds, which is not the multiverse, but the two worlds in app development right now. On one hand, you have typical MVC frameworks like Django, Laravel, Node.js with Express, Ruby on Rails, list goes on. On the other hand, you have low code, no code tools like Retool, Airtable, Buddybase, Tooljet, open source. In MVC frameworks like Django, you define your stuff through code, right? You are given a py file, okay, define your model here, and then you can define the view here, and then you can write the controllers. And in low code, no code tools like Buddybase and Tooljet, you have a drag and drop UI, and then you can connect your data sources. So what if I told you can get the best of both worlds in a single framework? That is what Frappe framework is. So Frappe framework is a low code, no code, full stack web development framework. It is MIT licensed. And I will say two keywords here: low code, no code, and batteries included. So before I dig deeper into the framework, why would you want to learn or know about Frappe framework and what's possible with it? So apart from what Venco team will tell you, they have been running their startup on Frappe framework, and we ourselves have built ERP Next, which is a sophisticated ERP tool, 100% open source, one of the best ERPs in the planet. And we have built other apps like an LMS, a data analysis tool, a website builder, a lot of them, all of them built on top of Frappe framework. Heck, our own cloud platform runs on Frappe framework. So the stack is Python in the backend, JavaScript in the front end. And the database, you have a choice between MariaDB and Postgres, although we have good support for MariaDB. So caching and queuing is baked by Redis. On the front end, we have Bootstrap and a sprinkle of jQuery, mostly vanilla.js. And for templating, we use Jinja. So when I said batteries included, what did I mean? I really meant batteries included. So Frappe framework comes out of the box with a very rich admin interface, which we call the desk. It comes out of the box with authentication and authorization, which means user management, role permission management, right? It gives you REST API out of the box. So you don't have to pip install anything Django REST framework and webhooks. So caching is powered by Redis, as I said, and we'll see how seamless API it provides for you to talk to the cache. Emails and PDFs, which mean printing, is out of the box. We have real time with Socket.io and a lot more than what I can cover in this 30-minute session. So we'll directly jump in to the desk. The desk is admin interface. So I'm not going to jump into a code editor. I'm going to jump into the desk and we can start building right away. So demo time. What are we going to build? Quickly, we are going to build a conference management app where we can manage speakers, talks, have web pages for those talks. Let's get started. Here I am at the login page of the desk, and we will directly get logged in. And this is the admin interface that I was talking about. We can directly start to build. And let's start with the doc type. So doc type is a combination of model plus a view, right? Not just the model. And since the talk title is metadata driven development, we'll see what that means. Let's start by creating a new doc type. Think of it as an entity, right, in your system. So as we are building a conference management app, the first thing, or the conference cannot exist without a speaker. So I'll call it a speaker, and let's set a module. So a module is a way to group these entities or doc types. So let's call it conference, because at any time you can have many apps, right? Then we'll go back and then create the speaker. Let's bring conference. Nice. And I will create and continue. And as soon as you create a doc type, you are taken to this view where you can start building your form. So let's start, and let's add a data field, first name, and let's add one more data field. So data field is like varchar 255. You can think of it like that. Last name, and we can split it to columns. So you're not doing anything in a py file. You are directly doing it from UI, and you are also defining how the form will look like. And the metadata part, I'm coming to that. Let's add a short text. So this will be small text. This will be the bio of the speaker. I can have new section below and move this bio here. Nice. Let's also have an image for this speaker. I will add a field, attach image. So there are a variety of different fields or column types available to you, starting from a barcode, a button, geolocation, HTML, a rich text editor, and many more. So I will do attach. There is an attach and attach image. Let's go with attach image. I will call it profile image for this speaker. That's fine. Now I want the first name to be mandatory. Like if I click on the field, you will see there are a lot of these options or configurations available. This is the configuration over code thing. And I will search for mandatory, mark this mandatory, and without writing any code, this field is mandatory now. And let's go to the settings. Now what I want is I will check this checkbox, right? Track changes. This is the metadata driven part I was talking about. This is the metadata that tells framework that whenever anything changes in any of the speakers, track it. And then I will go to the naming. So this is the part where you can define how will the primary key be generated. For this, I want an expression as a combination of first name and last name. So let's go first name, last name. So this is snake cased automatically, whatever name you gave here as the label. Let's hit save. And once you click save, you can start creating speakers. Let's go to the speaker list. As you will see, this is empty right now because we just created this doc type and there are no records. So let's create our first speaker. If you try to save, you will see that first name is mandatory. Let's say Jessica Green, and I will attach profile photo. So this uploader also comes out of the box. So you can either link or capture an image or from the device. So let's upload Jessica's image and we can crop it to one by one. Upload. And this is saved. So Jessica Green, this name got generated perfectly. Nice. Our image is here. So it would be good if we can show the image right here. So let's do that. I'll go to customize, which will take me back to this form. I can go to settings, form settings, and I can tell it image field. And we called it the profile image. Hit save. By the way, command S. Then go back. And you will see nicely we have Jessica's image right here in the form. Nice. We can create a few more records or we can proceed. So now I want to track the conference talks. So let's go back to the doc type. Let's create a new doc type called conference talk. Module will be conference. Let's create and continue. So a talk needs a title. So that will be also this. And let's make it mandatory. Now this gets interesting. Now we want to link, right, a talk to a speaker. So for that we have a link field. Let's call it speaker, and we'll tell framework that this is a link to the doc type we just created, speaker. And you will see the magic that happens. Let's make this also mandatory, and we will add a new section below where we will add a text editor field, which will be talk description. Hit save, and let's go to the settings. This time I will go with auto increment, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. We can even have track changes. Hit save. Go to conference talk list. Let's create our first conference talk. Keynote, right? And who is the speaker? Now, if I click on this field, you will see it shows me Jessica Green because Jessica is one of the records in the speaker doc type. Nice, right? You can search for Green and it still shows up. And let's add some talk description. Fancy, right? And let's make it bold. So you know that is like WYSIWYG editor. Let's save. And we have the conference talk here. Wouldn't it be nice? The title would be the title of this form view. We call it the form view and the list view also. So we can configure that as well. Metadata driven, right? So let's go back in the settings. We'll go in the form settings or the view settings. And then we'll say the title field is the title. I will hit save. Let's go back to conference talk list and you will see the title is keynote. Nice. Now we have the conference talk and the speaker. Let's have the conference itself. So maybe they want to run multiple conferences, right? So I will create a new doc type for conference in the conference module and hit save. The conference for conference, I want the naming rule to be set by the user because it will be anyways unique. Let the user set it. And then I want a date field, start date, right? Let's make it mandatory. And I want an end date, which will be again date type and date. Let's split it to 2 columns. And what else do we need? So we need the talks, right? Where are the talks? So this is one-to-many relationship. For that, we have a feature called child table. So let's create a new doc type called conference schedule talk. Module will be conference. Let me explain in a bit. I will check off this is child table, which will help us do the one-to-many relationship. And in here, I will have a link field to the talk, which will be conference talk, and it should be mandatory. And then you will have a link field to a speaker, which will also be mandatory. And let's hit before, let's split it into 2 columns. Why not? And then I'll go back to conference. I will add a new section below. I will say table, which is basically one-to-many mapping here. And I will call it schedule. And let's connect this to our schedule talk doc type that we just created. So if you see, the talk and speaker pop right up. Let's hit save, go to conference list, and let's create a new conference, PyCon India 2023. End date is 11, start date is 2. And let's see keynote, right? And we can improve this UX as well. So speaker should automatically come, right? Because it's already linked. So let's improve that again using metadata. We are not going into code right now. So I'll go back in here. I will say the speaker should be automatically fetched from the conference talk speaker. Nice. And the other thing we wanted to fix was we wanted to show the title in the table itself. So now if we go to the conference, let's go to the conference, PyCon Nigeria this time, end date is something, start date is this, schedule, talk. See, automatically the speaker got fetched. You can save it and you see keynote Jessica Green. This is the CRUD, right, out of the box. And you even got the REST API, by the way. So if you visit /API/ let's use version 2 of the API document, and you want to list the speakers, right? You can directly go to speaker and you will see you get the JSON back. You can pretty print. This is magic, right? So you can either do CRUD from here or REST API or the Python site. So now that we have the doc types, why not have a web page for each talk, right? So the users can visit and check all the talks from our website. So we'll go to the website workspace and we can directly go to web page. Let's add a web page and I will get a title and a route. So let's say talk details, route is /talk and / a dynamic parameter, right? So we'll call it name and then mark this check. So we have multiple ways to build web pages in Frappe. The newest being using an app called Frappe Builder, which is more powerful and gives you complete control like Figma, but outputs web pages. And then let's choose HTML. So we can write some dynamic HTML. So what I did was I have pasted in some Jinja code. It fetches the talk name from the URL, then fetches the whole talk details using getDoc from the database and renders some Jinja. So let's hit save. And what we will do is we will visit /talk/1, which should render the first talk, which we have keynote Jessica Green. And we have other options here as well. So we can go back and you can attach more context using Python. You can write your JavaScript here. I will say center align, not full width. Let's hit save. Go back to the talk details page, which will be talk/1. And we'll see it is centered and looks nice. Now we are back to the slides. What we did in the demo was mostly linked to something called the doctype. And as I briefed, a doctype is not just a database model. It's much more than that. Actually, when you create a doctype, you have two things. So you can define the metadata. So we saw that how you can define the schema or the relations using the link field and the table field. We also saw how you define the form layout and field settings, for example, mandatory. Then we saw how the list view works, right? There is a list view and a form view. In the form view, there is a lot more, like you can add comments, you can assign people, you can attach files, and much more. Then you have some extension features, like you can create web forms, webhooks. You can build reports on top of this doc types that we created. For example, how many speakers we have, how many talks we have, so on and so forth. You can write small server scripts. So server scripts run on the server, basically a Python script that you can write directly in the browser. So what we saw was just the beginning, right? So we were playing around in the UI and then models got created and then we had the list view and form view. We can do CRUD and we had REST API. But what about the other part, right? Going into full code mode. When you turn on developer mode on Frappe, you can create custom apps. So custom apps like are a bundle of doc types, templates, web views, portal pages, which are basically pages outside of the desk. So you can bundle all of that and ship it as an app so others can also install it on their site and use it. So when you enable developer mode and create a doc type, which we call a standard doc type, you get these files, right? You get a Python file where you can write your logic. You get a JS file which can help you customize the form view even further with your own scripts. You get a test file where you can write the unit tests. And then you get a whole lot of APIs to interact with the database. So we have a ORM. Then you can interact with the Redis cache. You can publish and listen to real-time events. You can do background jobs and queue. You can send emails. So all of that has nice abstractions in the code. So this was just about the Frappe framework piece, but we have used the framework to build a lot of apps and other libraries as well, which complement Frappe framework. And altogether, this ecosystem is called the Frappeverse. So what you see on screen is one of the apps, which is Frappe Insights. This is also built on top of Frappe framework. And on the front end, it uses a Vue.js library that we have built called Frappe UI. So this is an analytics tool. This is Frappe Builder. So it lets you build web pages. So it is just an app, right? Think of Frappe framework being an operating system now. So you can install apps built by us or the community. You can build your own apps and like all of them lives on one site. So you can create web pages just like Figma, but outputs real web pages that are live on your site. What you see now is Frappe CRM, which is also one of the new products. As I mentioned, right, the Frappe Cloud also runs on Frappe framework. So this is a screenshot from Frappe Cloud, which helps you manage Frappe sites and benches. Just to reiterate, Frappe Cloud is open source. And all the apps that I talked about are also open source. So I haven't talked about every one of them. There are a lot of them. So you might want to explore. So if you want to learn more and this talk gave you some curiosity, go to frappe.school and you will find courses on ERP Next as well as Frappe Framework. There is even one course called Full Stack App Development Frappe Framework, which will get you started in the world of developing custom apps with Frappe Framework. And there are a lot of opportunities in the ecosystem right now, jobs, partnership opportunities, freelance opportunities, and a lot more. So you can search for LinkedIn, by the way, and there is a job posting in Frappe School as well. So scan this QR code to visit the frappe.io website, and there you will find links to a lot of these things that I talked about and even more. So yeah, that's the end of my talk. Thanks for listening to me for the past 20 or so minutes. And I hope you would explore the Frappeverse. Feel free to drop me an email at hussain@frappe.io or reach me out on Twitter or LinkedIn at Nagaria Hussain. So yeah, looking forward to hear from you. So if you found this talk interesting, do hit me up. I'll be really happy to hear from you and help you getting started in the Frappeverse. Bye everyone. Have a nice rest of the conference. Bye Python team. Bye Winco team. And see you later.